All hail Tommy! Tommy strikes again, guys. Can you believe it? Unreal scenes. See, we was talking about Eze on this channel today. I done a reaction video which is already up this morning, which was very well timed. And we spoke about the other day because I have trust. I have trust in Tommy. There's Tommy Stonks are going to the moon, people. Manchester City are interested, seriously interested in making a move for Eberechi Eze after deal to sign Lucas Paqueta collapses. And people are in the chat saying, yeah, but LB, what is the source? Jack Gaughan for the Daily Mail, one of the best sources there is when it comes to Manchester City news, has struck this morning, and he has said that Manchester City are interested in Eberechi Eze. Now, this it's not formal interest just yet, so we're just thinking about it. We're just weighing up the options. But he is now a serious target for Manchester City. It's just whether or not City now want to proceed and make a formal bid for Eze. This is the article. Manchester City consider move for Eberechi Eze after deal to sign Lucas Paqueta collapse, with Crystal Palace expected to demand more than £70 million for the England international. Manchester City, Mail Sport understands Crystal Palace midfielder has been on City's radar for the last 6 months after senior scouts were left heavily impressed by his control of games for the Eagles. Now, that's quite interesting because if you remember the stream that I did, I can't remember what it was, yesterday or the day before, where we had a look at Eze's stats compared to Ilkay Gundogan's stats. Very similar numbers. Very similar numbers. I'd recommend going checking out that post again by Gaz on Twitter. But yeah, if we go back to the thing. The treble winners are still looking for a midfielder, given their dramatic betting allegations leveled at Paqueta, who have been ready to leave West Ham for £85 million. Eze, handed a first England cap by Southgate in June, has been attracting interest from across the Premier League following a stellar couple of years at Sellers Park. City sources have insisted all summer that they merely retained a watching brief of the 25-year-old. It remains to be seen whether Paqueta developments see for them formalised interest. Palace are expected to demand north of £70 million. £70 million for any potential suitors, with the transfer window set to shut next week. 8 days to go. Eze does, however, only have 2 years left on his contract, and any bid will test the resolve. And I think that's pretty much it when it comes to Eze on that. So, what do we know? Well, we know that Tommy told us that Manchester City are interested in Eze, but no formal sort of bid has been made. Jack, and obviously there are people out there that don't really fully believe Tommy, and that's fine. I get it, but I have some faith in the guy, yeah? Now we're hearing from Jack Gaughan that Manchester City are interested in Eze, but have yet to make any sort of formal approach for the player. Now, I get the whole formal approach thing, but you've got to obviously understand that there's only 8 days left of the transfer window. So, in my opinion now, barring any sort of dramatic changes, I think Manchester City will end up putting a bid in for Eze, because we know that Manchester City like him. We know that Manchester City are interested in Eze. I think Eze would like to join Manchester City, I'd assume. Obviously, I've not spoke to the guy, but I would assume that he'd like to join Manchester City. And there's only 8 days left. So I believe now, probably in the next few days, we will see Manchester City firm up that interest for Eberechi Eze, and a bid will be made. Now, the fee that's mentioned there in Jack Gaughan's article is £70 million. That's a little bit less than what some of us thought, because I think some of us thought maybe it could take close to 90 to 100 million, which obviously is crazy. Now, £70 million for me is still a lot of money, but it's a little bit more bearable. So we'll go through his stats again, you know what I mean? Because now it's sort of more formal. I want to go through them stats and have another look. But get your comments in the chat, and I'll put some of your comments up on screen. And I want to see what you're saying. Let's have a look. King Harlan says LB Eze will be a downgrade to Manchester City. Well, the fact is, bro, most players that we would sign as a replacement for Ilkay Gundogan would have been a downgrade. So I agree. But I think I think for me, whoever we get is probably going to be a downgrade on Gundogan, unfortunately, bro. It's just the way the game is because we've lost Ilkay Gundogan. Craig says, yeah, I agree. I'd rather have Kudos or Nunez over Eze. He was crap against Arsenal and he has had a massive injury. He has had an injury. We'll go through that as well. Harry says, could Eze play off the left and Jack Grealish in the midfield? Potentially. Look, one thing that I would really advise you to do is after we finish this stream, go and check out the video that I uploaded this morning. It's my reaction to Eze's best goals. And you see the goals. I put the goals on screen. No copyright in that. And there are some issues that I raise in that. So I'd heavily recommend going and checking out that video after you've done this. Nobody here wants Eze. Okay. Well, let's test that out, Wireless. Because I don't know if you're right or wrong. Do you want Eze at Man City? Let's say 75 mil. Yeah, let's say 75 mil. Okay, Paul is in the chat, guys. Paul is in the chat. And as you guys are voting on that, I'm going to get Eze's stats up. And again, we can have a little bit more of a deep dive now. And especially because we believe that this is probably going to happen. I think City will end up putting a bid in for Eze. There ain't no smoke without fire, guys. And we've heard Tommy talk about it. We've heard Jack Garn now talk about it. Okay, there's no formal approach for the player at this moment in time. But to be fair, we only just left Paqueta, like 4 days ago? And what did I say once we lost the Paqueta deal? Once, obviously, the news come out about his betting. What did I say? I said, take your time. I said, take your time on this. You don't need to rush this. You need to rush the Doku deal. And they did. They got that done. And he's obviously in Manchester right now. So that's great news. But this midfield position, don't rush it. No need to rush it. We've got one game now before the end of the transfer window. We won't play that anyway. So take it to identify certain players that you believe could come in and do the job. Check out the stats. Check out how Pep feels about each player. Check out the finances in terms of how much the player is going to cost, and then make a decision. But you don't need to rush it. Paul is in the chat. Let's have a look at some of these. Let's have a look at some of his stats then for Eberici Eze. So his contract, as Jack said in his article, he's contracted for 2 more years, 2025, and he's got a transfer marked estimated value of 40 million euros. Now he's saying 70 million quid. Could you get him for a little bit cheaper than that? He's only got 2 years left on his deal. I don't know. I think that you still might be paying kind of top cash for Eze. Citizenship is England and Nigeria. Obviously plays for Crystal Palace, as we all know. And he's a right-footed player, 25 years old. And he's only just turned 25 back in June. We'll have a look at his injuries first, guys. Keep your comments coming in the chat, by the way. And I'll put some of them on screen when I see them. His injuries are not that bad. The problem is he had one injury, which was not a great injury. It was just an Achilles tendon problem. He was out for half a year, which ain't great, obviously. And basically, we checked it out. And what we think it is, obviously, I'm not an old doctor, yeah, but I think it's, the back of your ankle. It's something there that he's done. It's a common injury in sport players. So I don't know. I don't think necessarily you can look at this and go, oh, it's a serious issue. He's had 3 injuries. One of them he was out for a day. The other one was out for 3 days. He just had this one serious injury, which obviously is something to consider, but I don't think it's a major problem, given the fact it is only one injury. And what, guys, it was 2 years ago. It's not like he's had it and then he's got more injuries and more injuries with the same thing. He's had one injury. You know what I mean? So we can't be sitting here, guys. Sorry, we can't sit in here going, oh, he's got massive injury problems. That's cap. That is absolute BS. Okay, let's have a look at last season numbers. Let's have a look at last season's numbers for Eze. This season, he's played 2 games. Okay, so last year, I think these are good numbers. I think these are impressive. He played 40 games in all competition, 10 goals and 4 assists. 4 assists. I think that's good numbers. I do. He's played for Crystal Palace. He played for a team that didn't really attack and didn't play too great. And I think they're good numbers. That's a goal or an assist every 190 minutes. You guys can disagree with that if you think, but I think that's really impressive numbers. I really do. You've got to remember he was playing for a Palace side last year, which under Patrick Vieira were very negative, didn't attack very well. They went 3 games in a row without having a shot on target. I remember seeing Palace fans on Twitter saying, nah, this football is awful. Awful. And then they brought in Hodgson, and obviously Hodgson improved them, but he's not some player, he's not some manager who he's like a all-out attack guy as well. So I think, honestly, 10 goals and 4 assists, I think people are really being sort of a bit harsh on that. I think they are impressive numbers. Let's have a look at the year before. I think, is this where he had his injury? Yeah, that's where he had his injury. So not really much to go off there. Only played 1,000 minutes, a goal and assist. So yeah, not obviously a bit harsh. You can't really judge him off that. Let's have a look at the year before that though. So this one, he played 34 games, 4 goals, 6 assists, 36 games in all comps, 4 and 6, 2,743 minutes. Again, if you do the maths on that, that's 274 minutes per goal or an assist. Not ideal, but again, you know, this was what? He would have been 23. He would have been 22, 23. Again, playing for Palace. That's not the best stats in the world. I accept that one. But, you know, he's young. He's breaking through into the Palace team. He's only playing 2,500 minutes. It's not like he's starting every game and playing the full 90 minutes. So, listen, it's not a signing that I think people are going to be sitting here going, yes, this is going to be a class signing. But I do think that he has serious potential. He has serious potential to go to the very top of the game. I wasn't that impressed with him personally against Palace, against Arsenal on Monday night. Watched that game, did a watch along for it, and didn't think he was particularly great. But listen, he's a player that I think with the right coaching can achieve a lot. Can achieve a lot. I really do. Let's have a look at the poll, guys. Keep your comments coming on. I'm going to put some of your comments on screen in a second. 250 people in the stream, guys. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel as well if you're new. And remember, after this, go and check out my video that I did this morning where I react to Eze's best goals and moments. Goals and moments shown on screen as well. Right. 56% of people want Eze at Manchester City if the fee is around 75 million. 44% of people say, no, you don't want Eze. So there's a lot of people, almost half of people say they don't want Eze at Manchester City. That's a lot. That's a lot. Get your comments in. I want to know why you guys are thinking that at the moment. Honestly, I really do. Let's have a look what you guys are seeing. D3 says it's going to be a very long season for us if we don't get another midfielder. Mr. Lyon says, I'm in the middle with Eze. Not really sure. I think, to be honest with you, Bray, that's where I'm kind of at. I'm not in a situation, and Georgios, I'll answer this question. Am I happy with the Eze signing? I think that in an ideal world, you kind of wanted someone with a little bit more, how to describe it, like history and sort of consistency. Like, obviously, this is going to sound proper shit, but like, obviously you'd want a Bellingham. Obviously you'd want probably Rice. Obviously you'd probably want Paqueta. But the problem is that them players have gone. We can't get them players. So now you're looking at basically our 4th to 5th choice player in this position. And I don't think Eze's a particularly bad option in that situation. Is he perfect? Probably not. But is he a player that could come into Manchester City and with some coaching improve our team? I think so. I think so. Look, I'm not sitting here gassed about it because obviously I would have rather had Paqueta. Obviously, I would have rather had Bellingham. Like, obviously it sounds spoiled, but like, it's just facts. It's obviously just facts. But Eze is a player that I think has serious potential. I think that season where he got 10 goals, 4 assists last year, I think that is really, really, really impressive. I do. But obviously the problem is that's his best season and he's 25. But I think that we just need to accept that we're in a situation where we're running out of time. There's no other players realistically that we can get at the moment because by all accounts, Barella don't want to leave Italy. Wirtz is going to be really, really difficult to get out of Leverkusen. Does he even want to leave Leverkusen? He's got the Euros in the summer. He wants to be playing week in, week out to give him the best chance of playing there. Dani Olmo looks like it's a dead deal as well. So, you know, who else you want to go for? So well and good saying, oh, I don't want Eze. I don't think he's good enough, but you got to give other options. Valverde is a potential option, but listen, for Valverde, I just think if City wanted Valverde, we would have got him. Pep wanted Valverde, we would have gone and got him. So I've got to just come to the conclusion on that we probably don't want Valverde. We was willing to spend over 100 million on Bellingham. We was willing to spend 90 million on Rice, 85 million on Paqueta. So if Valverde is going for 90 million euros, which is kind of like the rumoured fee, you would assume that City would have gone and got him if they wanted him. So we've got to think that they don't want him. So who else is there out there? There's not a lot of players, man. People talk about Pedro at Sporting Lisbon, Nunes at Wolves. Again, are these players going to cost 90 million euros? Probably not, probably less. So if City wanted them, I would have imagined that they would have gone and got them. So that tells me that City want Eze. It tells me that Pep wants Eze. And if that's what they want, then we got to kind of get behind it, guys, you know, whether you want him or not. But I know obviously there's 47% of people now in the vote that don't want Eze, which is wild. Yo, listen, big up to Darcy, man. Has just become a YouTube member. Massive appreciate that, bro. Thank you very much. And welcome to the squad. Big up, Darcy. Hope you're doing good, man. Link is in the description, by the way, and pin comment. Anyone else wants to become a YouTube member, massively help support the channel. Italian Stallion says, people need to understand we are never going to get Wirtz or Barella this late in the window. I actually don't care who we bring in as long as we do get a sensible replacement for Gundogan. I agree. I don't think we're going to be able to get Wirtz. The information that's been coming out on the Wirtz deal is that basically he wants to stay because he wants to play the full year to give him the best opportunity to play in the Euros, right? Leverkusen don't really want to sell now because I think they believe that if he has another good season this year and does well at the Euros, they're potentially sitting on like 130, 140 million euro player. Yeah, if to sell him now, what, you're going to get 90? Keep him for one more year, you could potentially increase that value by 50%. So I don't think they're particularly wanting to sell right now. And Barella again, does he want? I don't think he wants to leave Italy. I really don't. Italian Stanley with a 5 says, was it Tommy or someone? I can't remember. We might get 2 midfielders if the opportunity arises. Wouldn't surprise me if we get Eze and also someone cheap. Well, of course, we have been speaking a little bit about Gabri Vega. I don't know if there's been any development on that. The last information that I had on that last night from Fabrizio Romano was that whilst the deal had sort of broken down a little bit, both parties were looking, Napoli and Celta Vigo, to sort of come together and get that deal done. I would have imagined, again, with the Gabri Vega deal, it's a 35 million euro buyout clause. I think if City wanted Gabri Vega as a cheap option, they would have got Gabri Vega. You know what I mean? So I just feel that we need to get behind this transfer if it's going to happen. Get behind it. I think that the guy has, obviously, he's got stuff that he needs to work on, but guy's been playing for Palace, man. You know what I mean? He's been playing for Vieira and Hodgson. He's going to be coming in and working with the best manager in the world who improves every player that comes in. He got 10 goals and 4 assists. If we can get him to improve on that, that's exceptional for us. It really, really is. You know. So I'm backing this deal. I'm honestly backing this deal, man. I think it's going to be decent. Let me bring this up on screen actually. Where are we at? Here we go. Yeah, so Jack gone. Manchester City are weighing up a move for Eberechi Eze with Crystal Palace expected to demand north of 70 million quid from any potential suitors. Eberechi Eze has been Manchester City's radar for the last 6 months after senior scouts were left heavily impressed by his control of games for Crystal Palace. Again, his control of games, the numbers. Let me get the Ilkay Gundogan comparisons up again. Big up to Gaz, man. Let's have a look. Where is his numbers, man? Where is his numbers? Let's have a look. Has he deleted them? Oh, no. Where is it, Gaz? Here we go. Right, let's check this out, yeah? I'll try and bring this up on screen. Now, again, unfortunately, you might not fully be able to see this on screen because it's like a long image, but I'll hold it there. If you can't properly see the stats, go on Gaz's Twitter, at FMWKD Soul, and you can check it out. So this is a comparison between Eze and Ilkay Gundogan, and I know you guys cannot see that. It's really annoying. But essentially, the numbers are very, very similar. Expected goals, very similar. Expected assists, very similar. You know, his numbers to Ilkay Gundogan better. Progressions carried the ball up the pitch better than Ilkay Gundogan, which is sort of understandable because he's more of a carrier. This is more defensive actions, makes more tackles per 90 minutes. More successful tackles per 90 minutes, more blocks per 90 minutes. Again, he does play for a team that has less of the ball, so that's obviously going to go skew the numbers a little bit. But if you look at his shots on target, he has a better shots on target per 90 minutes than Ilkay Gundogan. He has a slightly less expected goals at 0.25 compared to 0.29. He has very similar numbers to Ilkay Gundogan. Now, obviously, again, I said this last time. I'm not saying he's anywhere near Ilkay Gundogan's level, right? Just you sometimes have to just clarify stuff like that. But City have clearly looked at the numbers. They've clearly looked at the stats on this and looking for a player that can come in and do something like Ilkay Gundogan, and they believe that Eze is that guy. Now, I don't know whether he's going to be good enough. I don't know. You know what I mean? You can't look at a player like Eze at Crystal Palace where let's be honest, last year was a tough year for him and his numbers were impressive. The year before that, he didn't have the best numbers. He's had an injury that set him out for half a season. It's impossible to look at him and go, yeah, he's going to come in and slam or he's going to come in and do bad. But from what there is, when we look at the numbers, when we look at the data, there's probably enough in there to suggest that it is worth a shot. And I say it again. If you don't want Eze, who else can you get, man? Who else can you get out there, people? You know? There's a talent drain in the game. There's a serious talent drain in football. And I don't know who else you can get. FG says, use our academy. Listen, that's not the worst shout in the world. And if anyone sits here and says, LB, we should use McAtee, we should use Oscar Bob, I'm never going to sit here and say, no chance. In my opinion, we should strengthen. We should sign someone. But if you think McAtee's good enough, if you think Oscar Bob's good enough, no problem with that. That's, in the end of the day, that's how football really should be played. You should be bringing players through your academy. But if you don't want to use an academy player and you want to bring someone in, who is it to get? Isaac says Florian Wirtz. Bro, again, Florian Wirtz, I just don't think you're going to be able to get him this summer. I just do not see how you're going to get him this summer. Barella don't want to leave Italy. Dani Olmo deal looks like it just won't happen. I just don't see it. I think Eze is going to be probably the guy that we're looking at. And I think that it's going to be an exciting signing. I think he's going to offer us something that the current midfield doesn't offer, which is he's good on the ball. He can carry it. He can link up a little bit like Foden with his dribbles. I think he can drift into wide areas. He gets goals. He gets assists, which is something that's really, really important. I think that he's still young enough where he can come in and he can really learn off Pep Guardiola and learn off the other players and develop as a player. Yeah, SK, listen, I don't disagree with that at all, bro. We should have signed a midfielder earlier in the window, but we tried. We tried to get Bellingham, but he wanted to go Real Madrid. We bid for Rice, but he wanted to go Arsenal. But Maddison was already gone. Paqueta had a betting charge. I agree 100%, but it's difficult really to sit here and criticise the board for not signing a player in the early in the transfer window because they tried to. They tried, and for whatever reasons, we're in a situation where there's 8 days left and now we've got to sign a midfielder. It's not perfect, but you can't really blame the board on this. You can't blame the board because they did try, man. We never really tried for Olmo, Barella or Wirtz, but what about if we just got shut down? What about if we just got shut down on this? You know, we obviously don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And the Olmo one, I think City did try for Olmo. I think we did try for Olmo, and I think that we were met with probably a ridiculous valuation or something like that, or just an outright refusal. We never really tried for Barella, but the news coming out of the Barella camp is that he doesn't sound like he wants to leave. Wirtz is the one that, we've probably not tried, but again, if you go back and have a look at the information that was coming out on Wirtz, it was only like 3 days ago that this came out. Bayer Leverkusen were like, if you want to sign him, it's going to take a gigantic bid. It was probably going to be over 115 million euros, in my opinion. And there were still murmurings that Wirtz didn't even want to leave because he's got the Euros. He don't want to come to Manchester City where he's going to be sitting on the bench, not properly playing because Foden's there, Kovacic is there, De Bruyne's back in 2024, and then completely ruin his chances at getting in the Euro team. You know what I mean? So I just don't think them players were available. So for me, I think Eze is a player that is worth the risk. I think that he's got good attributes that we can use. I think he's got development areas that Pep can help develop. And ultimately, last year, he had a great season. 10 goals, 4 assists is a great season. I really do. Genuinely, I think it's great numbers. Guys, make sure you drop a like on the stream if you've not done so already. 250 people in the building, 100 likes. Let's get those likes up, man. Should we have a look at a little bit of a scouting report? Let's, because obviously there was clearly some people in this chat, nearly half of you guys who were a little bit concerned at this signing, maybe not too convinced. We could potentially do so. Let's see if I can get a scouting report on here. Let's go. Let's see if we can get a scout report. Let's go past year. Come on, so surely someone's done a scouting report here. Surely someone's done a scouting report. Eberechi Eze. Eberechi Eze. Is there no scout report? Here we go. Got one. Right, let's bring this up on screen. Scouting report season. Okay, Palace's untapped attacking potential has been realised following the return of veteran manager Roy Hodgson. Eberechi Eze's coming of age is the jewel in Palace's crown. Okay, on the cusp of an England call-up. Apparently he's had one cap for England. Okay, nice. Let's see. Eze is thriving as the talisman of Palace's team, providing match-winning moments against Southampton and West Ham to help the Eagles reach the 40-point mark, whilst his strike against Southampton saw him win the club's Goal of the Month award to cap off an excellent April for midfielder. Okay. It's not really a scouting report, boys, to be honest with you, but we'll allow it. That's not really player analysis. That's not really a player analysis, to be honest. Yeah, there don't seem to be one. If anyone sees a scouting report for Eze, hit me up, man, and I'll go for it, but it doesn't look like there is one, to be honest, which is a bit disappointing. Look, guys, I'm just saying this. It's early days. We don't know if City are going to formalise interest. At the moment, City are interested, but no formal approach for Eberechi Eze. I think it's a decent signing. I think it's a player that we should seriously look at. And if the manager's happy, if the board's happy, the player's happy to come, I think we should send it. Honestly, I do. Hopefully we'll get a little bit more information. Hopefully we'll get some Jeremy Doku news later on as well. What I'm going to say is, guys, if you've not seen this video already, go check out this. I put the link in the chat. It's the video I did this morning reacting to Eze's best goals and moments. Hit the link in the live chat. Smash a like on the stream. And yeah, we might be live later on for a Jeremy Doku announcement. Guys, I'll leave you there. Peace out.